So, all right. So we got Nikki Suits, Utica Yeti forward. Uh, you're also a coach at Whitesboro.
Yep, Whitesboro and MVCC.
Oh, you coach at MV too?
Yep, doing a little
Nice.
bit much.
Yeah, I didn't know you were coaching there. That's awesome. I love messing with Bob about that. That's where I went. That's how I met Paul.
Yeah, I've been there for about probably 4 or 5 years now.
Oh, nice. What's the status of that program?
MVs?
Yeah.
It's a good question. um, I mean, last year we didn't think we were gonna have a team, so that's how I ended up with Whitesboro. But then we ended up having a team, so I was trying to balance both of them. And then, as of right now, we have players. I know a couple of my Whitesboro guys, or at least one of them, is going to be playing for us. The head coach, Nick Evanoff, he seems pretty confident in our season this year upcoming. So as of right now, it looks good, but you never know with the second semester how things go with the students.
Yeah, that's unfortunately the problem. Lacrosse and student athletes don't always go hand in hand. Some of us are not really ready for college or even really should go there, but that's a whole nother story altogether.
Yep.
So how did you end up at MV?
Um, I used to work at Killebrew, and the head coach there, he worked there and all that, and he knew I played lacrosse, and we talked one day. He needed an assistant, and I offered my help, and been there since.
That's awesome. It's probably my favorite part is like everybody that's involved with this Yeti team is involved with coaching somewhere or something like that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's definitely it's just pretty much everything we do is just lacrosse in some way, so that's good to see.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely the way it is now. This PBLA, this will be really cool though because this is actually a paid league, and you were at the combine.
Yep.
So, what was the combine like for you?
It was really nice. It was very professional. It was set up very well. It was a lot of fun. We met great people. Um, all the guys that were involved in creating the PBLA and they were telling us what their goal was and all that, and just there were a lot. We had one day we had questions at breakfast, and they answered every question. Everyone seemed to be appreciative of those answers and all that. It's a pretty good time. Worked their butts off, and this plan is to see what happens October 22nd.
Yeah, that is definitely got to be cool now. I mean, are you how did you feel out there compared to the other about 100 guys is what Phil Mauricio said.
So a lot of people couldn't make it either because when we were doing the first day with the tests and all that, a lot of people were missing. But it was good. It was definitely different as it like compared to playing with the Yeti. You know, there's a lot of talent there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got to be cool. I mean, one of my favorite parts of the Yeti though is you've got guys like you who are so athletic and so acrobatic out there. I mean, like your diving goals from behind the net and the way you like jump around the dodges, or I've got some of your behind the back plays. I'll definitely be cutting some of those in here after we're done because I mean, you are so much fun to watch. How was that to do? Did you get a chance to display that at the combine, or was it more let's see where you're at athletically?
Um, the first day I didn't really do much. I was more setting picks and everything. We had a little mishap with the teams. There was probably like seven lefties on my team, and then the second day I ended up volunteering to go on a different team that only had one lefty. So right then and there, I just started playing my game a little bit more. I think the only goal I had the whole combine was a in the jumping into the crease goal. But before that, I got stuffed diving full thread in there. But got to show a little bit of that on my side.
That's awesome. I tell you, I love watching it. Once you're out there and you're in your groove, I mean, the way you guys move with the ball out there, dance around behind the back, diving through the crease, it's really impressive. I'm really hoping to watch you on one of these teams here pretty soon. Now, on the PBLA, what are they expecting for a full winter season? You think?
I believe so. They made it sound like it was going to be exactly like the exact type of season as the NLL. Um, Obviously, I don't know if these are the only teams that they have so far. It obviously won't be as widespread. Maybe a fewer games, but it seems like their goal is to have this as professional as possible and have the appropriate amount of games that they're supposed to have.
That's awesome. I tell you, it's just got to be really nice for you guys to be able to have a place to go play. I actually figured it out. So with the, I didn't figure it out for the NLL. I'll have to figure out how many spots they have. It's a tiny number. Like the PLL only has 280 pros. So I mean, if you consider the number of guys that play lacrosse, 208 is not a very big number. So I'll figure out
No.
whatever the NLL number is, but I mean, it's so sweet. I'm really excited that this season doesn't conflict with the NABLL season. So is this you guys should be able to play on both teams without much of a problem?
Um, it depends. I don't know if they're gonna try to do because I know this year, if you were in the NLL, you couldn't do any of that. They haven't. I don't think we ever got that far. Because I was wondering that the other day. Because it would be nice. I mean, since they're separate seasons, it would be nice to be able to play. If I were to make it, it'd be nice to play professionally and all that, and then it would be nice to be home and play with my buddies and all that for just as a competitive league.
Yeah, just
Same
to
goal
keep
and
your
everything.
yeah, just to be able to keep your stick in your hand, keep you sharp. I mean, there's nothing like playing as far as keeping you in tune. I mean, so that must have been nice for you going into the tryout. You guys are in pretty good swing with the Yeti. You've been practicing, so you've had a stick in your hands. I mean,
Hmm.
you must have been pretty stoked for that part of the tryout. How would you? I mean, how did you feel you did athletically? Like, 'cause what was it? You guys did like 50-yard dashes.
Yeah, I think it was more like 20 yard. It wasn't too big, but we did that, and then we did just like footwork and just a little bit of agility, I guess, and stuff like that. I mean, honestly, that first day wasn't too bad. It was just kind of like a warm up for everything, but the next day that was a real challenge because they changed up a lot of the rules with the PBLA as opposed to the NLL. Like we're taught to on transition wise, we're taught to if you're on offense, you get the hell off and let the defense get on. Here, it should go like kind of like how you saw us in indoor off season when I would be out there the whole time running up and down the field. Now that's kind of the game that they're trying to play with this, like stay on, stay off. They're trying to play both aspects of the game for the athletes, which is pretty cool to see. So it's not really
Yeah,
just strictly offense or defense now.
yeah, that definitely will make things interesting as far as running all the way up, running all the way down. How do you have any idea what they're expecting for roster sizes?
Um, I could be wrong. Like it just through the grapevine, I heard like just under 20 or 20, so not
Oh,
many. Especially
yeah.
if you're running around that much, it's got to be in pretty good shape there.
So either you're a stud or you're not.
Yeah, better just start running at this point.
Yeah, you better get your cardio on point.
Oh yeah.
How Blaine was there? Was there anybody else from the Eddie?
Brian Conzola was there too. We
That's
tried to get a
awesome.
couple others, but uh, just some couldn't make it.
Yeah, it tends to, life gets in the way.
There's some eel players there, which is cool to see. Some familiar faces, whether we're friends with them or not. Got to play with them a little bit.
Yeah, and I know there was at least one Collar City guy,
Yep. What was his name?
Justin.
Phil, Dustin.
Yeah, Phil. He didn't end up playing for Collar City this year. He
Oh,
used to
okay.
play for the Hyenas.
Oh, yeah. He owned them last year, right? Or
Yeah,
ran the team or something like that.
yeah.
Yeah, he was there. He did pretty good.
Oh, he looked good out there. That's the other guy that I interviewed. How long have you played box lacrosse?
Um, Actual box lacrosse last year was my first year.
And it's hard for me to
Yeah.
believe that you've only played 1 year because I've seen some of the stuff you do out there. That's pretty impressive.
Well, I mean, I've had some pretty good. We got a good coaches, a lot of good players, and I was lucky enough to like last year we had a couple pros on it. We had Rodney, was a good friend of mine now. He's taught me a bunch of stuff, and I wouldn't be anywhere without Neal Powless, honestly. He basically taught me how to play left side box. So if it wasn't for those guys and then just the rest of the team making me look good out there, I wouldn't really be much out there.
Yeah, that is definitely one thing. Is the Yeti are super lucky. You get more.
Neal's driving.
As far
Good
as
shot.
experience.
Yes! Goal! Neal Powless on that one.
Kenny Dorsey out there, Johnny. So many guys that know that is probably one of the coolest parts is just watching the young guys. I mean, what I've seen guys from when I first started watching when they were at the practice field in Rome to what they were at the end of the year. It's impressive. I mean,
Oh yeah, I mean they make a big difference for sure.
I mean, Neal's coached he's coached all over, but right now he's coaching the Netherlands or the Dutch team over there.
I believe it's the Netherlands still. Yeah, he's turned that team around too. I mean, he just knows how to coach. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, he's a real legend of the sport. Canadian Lacrosse Hall of Famer. So yeah, definitely a good guy to learn under, and he's done a great job. I mean, you're surrounded with great players on the Yeti. Where you think you'd rather play or any of that shit?
I'm not sure. I mean, if I was to make it, there's a team I want to play for, it'd be for the Syracuse Sparkle Muffins, but that's if they change it back.
Yeah, the Sparkle Muffins. I was super impressed. I actually pulled that up on the last interview I did with Philly Hype there. That is pretty awesome. I mean, the other thing is Syracuse is really close to you. How far are you from Syracuse?
It's 45-minute drive. I used to go to Jones Road all the time with my buddy Austin. He played last year with the Yeti. We would go there every week for kind of like the hybrid indoor box games every Tuesday. So it's nowhere I'm a stranger of.
Yeah. I mean, that would be nice if they hopefully looked at that as they were drafting some of these teams and were like, okay, we could definitely save this guy a trip.
Yeah, they were saying they're gonna try to accommodate because they know we have like full-time jobs and some people have families and stuff like that. So they're gonna try to accommodate the best they can to where you are to the team that you're gonna be on if you were to make the team. So that was pretty cool of them to say because that was a lot of concerns I'm sure for many people, me included. I mean, but it would be nice to not have to go too far just to play for a season.
Yeah. I mean, especially to so I mean, really, you could be drafted by any of the New York teams, and that's driving distance. The Hamptons, that down in New York City, the Hamptons, do you know?
Um, I think it's towards Virginia. I don't know. I don't know why I said Virginia. My buddy I was texting yesterday that went to Herkimer. He said the team he's playing for is going to be the Hampton Hammerheads.
Yeah.
But he's living in Virginia, so I didn't. That's why I was a little confused.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I have to look, check it out. I'm really hoping you get drafted high. I'd love to be able to go out there.
Yeah, I mean, it seems pretty. I mean, I see you and Necker have interviews a lot. I saw the last one I saw was other than yesterday's was when he's talking about how I was the leading goal scorer / leading penalty guy. So that was a pretty good interview. It was a funny interview too.
Yeah, I mean, those interviews are all gold, and he was 100% right. You were definitely one of the leading goal scorers and one of the leading penalty minute guys. But the last game, you really rolled in the penalty minutes, and you definitely looked more mature out there with your decisions.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I know how to turn it on.
That is my favorite part, though, is you guys play so emotional out there. You are going 120% from the time your feet hit the floor until they get back off. It is so much fun. I mean, you never know what to expect. I love it. You guys are freaking the best.
Yeah, I mean, we're always playing for the guy next to us. I think that's why our team is so special. Is like even last year, we clicked right away. We talked to each other every day. I mean, it gets a little bit of a pain in the butt. I'm trying to work and my phone just keeps going off because we got 20 to 50-year-olds texting in a group chat for 6 hours a day. But at the end of the day, we're all family, and we help each other out as best as we can. And I know this team has done a bunch for me already, and I hope I'm doing enough for them too. But we're not gonna just half-ass it out there for each other.
Yeah. Now let's talk about the Yeti. It's definitely for the guy next to you.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, we put it all out there on the floor. I mean, we're playing for the guy next to us. We're a very close team, and even last year, going into this year, new players clicked right away too. We're all close with them too. I mean, we've helped each other out in many ways on and off the field, and I know I've been helped out a lot with shit. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear, sorry, with stuff, and
They ain't monetizing any of this anyways. You'll be fine.
but yeah, at the end of the day, we're just a big family, and it's the age differential is also what's crazy too. I mean, we got Peter Leota is probably our youngest guy, 19 years old, all the way to probably either Davis or Neal. They're in their late 40s. You know, we're all good friends and stuff like that, and we help each other out. We play with each other. I mean, I told you, Neal taught me pretty much everything I know on that left side. So I
Yeah, I
mean,
mean that's
we're here
not
for
a
each
bad
other.
coach. Not a bad coach to learn from, though. I mean, being able to have Neal Powless, how Paul ever landed him to come to the Yeti, I have no idea. I'm telling, it's because Paul's contagious. He is so fired up about this sport. You cannot help but get involved and try to like make the Yeti the best organization you've ever seen.
Oh yeah, I definitely wasn't a big fan of box lacrosse right away. I didn't know how to play it, and then the two times I played it, I got broken ribs. But also, I didn't have rib pads, so I just assumed that's just how the sport was. And then kind of got a little bit more into it, and it was a lot more fun. Still broke a couple ribs, but at least I knew what I was doing at that point.
Definitely. I'm glad you stuck with it. I mean, some of your flying highlights are you've I've got some of the best clips from you. We've got a couple behind the back passes, diving from behind the crease and dunking it in. I like to call you air suits on the YouTube. Yeah, you guys are so much fun. The heart you play with, I can't wait to see you guys out in Ohio. Where are you thinking you guys are going to be nationally?
Um, Honestly, if we play exactly the way, if not better, how we did in the championship game against Syracuse, there's no doubt in my mind we'll win. Everyone, no one was relying on a certain person. Usually, we have games where, all right, this person's hot. It's just kind of let them do their thing, like, and then we'll back them up. That game, everyone was there. Everyone was focused. Everyone was ready. Um, all the way from defense, goalies to the offensive end. I mean, we weren't getting. I think we had maybe one or two penalties the whole game, also. So as long as we're out of the box too, and we're a big penalty team, obviously. So as long as we're out of that box, myself included, I mean, we'll be no doubt in my mind. We'll make it to that championship game.
That's definitely I see your guys' biggest obstacle. You're a very emotional team, and you guys do get a little carried away with going to the box. But yeah, you guys get goals from everyone. It seems like there's so many guys scoring on the team, like you said. Sometimes you guys will kind of back the hot guy and everybody goes. But you guys are scoring 20 goals a game. I actually just looked at that first scrimmage. I was clipping a bunch of stuff for somebody the other day. You guys in that first scrimmage, that was crazy. Everybody scored.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we gotta like that whole right side is stacked, our left side is stacked. Even our defense, they know how to score too. I mean, you got great backgrounds from everyone, and like I said, we have a couple pros guys who played high end lacrosse and all that. So there's we got some power.
Yeah, you guys are stacked. And actually, that was one thing the Collar City guy said. He goes, the Yeti are stacked, and they're not stacked with college kids. So when the college season starts and every other team loses 4 or 5 of their studs, the Yeti are really just hitting their stride because they've had the full season. And you have one, maybe two guys that go, which, yes, are missed, but you guys are really an older, really a pro team.
Yeah, I mean, like definitely a lot of experience on our team, which is what I think helps us a lot. There's more patience, more understanding of it all, as opposed to some of these younger teams, which like Oswego, 95% of the team seems like it's a bunch of college kids, and they did really good this year. They got better every game, but we were still the more experienced team at the end of the day, and we're adjusting to everything that they were putting on us. And we still got athletes on our team that aren't too slow yet, so that helps a little bit too.
Definitely. I mean, that Oswego team, it was a completely different team from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. But that could definitely be said for you guys, too. I mean, your first few games were a lot different than the Yeti. I mean, you kind of had a slow start in that Syracuse game. But then after that, you guys came at Salt City, and it was excellent game of lacrosse. Like you said, you guys stayed out of the box. You started to limit the shots. You guys were firing on all cylinders at most of that game.
Yeah, like in our transition game, Salt City kills us big time on those. I mean, we're not coming off in time and all that, and we definitely capitalized on that and fixed it. And that was a huge game changer there too. So the two biggest issues that we had, we fixed big time. So as long as we do all that, no doubt in my mind, we'll be fine up and over in Ohio.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, your transition, you can count on Versace to get a couple. Leota, Snow. I mean, that back end, they are so fast. And honestly, most of the D on your team could play it forward and on most of these other teams.
Yeah, I mean, I know several of our guys as field players, were offensive players, like Thomas Karam. He was an attackman.
Yeah.
Charlie Drozowski, he was a goalie, but he was also an attackman in college. So I mean, we got some offensive guys, and even last year, Brandon Miziak was a huge factor of our team. He was an All-American offensive midi, and he ended up being transition for us. I mean, it's just great. Like, you need people like that, and it's crazy that it follows into box. You're completely opposite position. I almost considered playing defense too, but
I'm glad you didn't, because you on offense, especially when you're out there, like you, Ty Hill, Blaine, you get a couple of you guys, somebody charging up Karam, and it is like magic out there. So somebody's gonna dive, somebody's gonna be smashing through somebody going through. You guys sacrifice it all, lay yourselves right out there to score. It's a lot of fun to watch.
yeah, it's fun to play too, and you can trust everyone on our team. You don't like, obviously mistakes are going to happen in games and all that, but we don't really think about that because it's like a brotherhood at this point. We hang out, we talk off the field and on, and then we just in the past year we figured out how to play the game with each other, and even like the newcomers that haven't really played last year or new to this team, they clicked right away. I mean, Blaine, this isn't like a jab at Blaine at all. He maybe played one or two games last year. He's played every game this year, and he's one of our top scorers, and he's amazing out there. He figured out the game real quick. He's not afraid to get in there. He loves diving, obviously. That's his favorite part of the game, and he's killing it out there. And he even did that in the PBLA combine. I mean,
yeah.
So he's still keeping that with him.
You got to start doing some of the big lifting stuff he's doing on Instagram all the time. Do a couple of them squats, you'll be all set.
I don't know.
Yeah, no way. Most of us are not built like that. He's a different specimen. But like you said, I think a lot of that has to do with he's watching guys like you. He's learning from guys like you, Neal Powless, Ty Hill, Alex Cook, and I could keep going. I mean, all of your offense it's full of studs.
Yeah, I mean, and he did a lot of studying. He would come over every weekend during the winter. We watch the NLL, whatever game was on, didn't matter who was on. He dug deep, and myself included. We wanted to get better, and I think all that off-season studying and practicing showed up this season big time.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. I don't know. I didn't really get to see any of the games last year. It's a shame that it wasn't fucking recorded so we could watch it. But hopefully we've got that remedied here and we can keep this show rolling.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens in Ohio.
Definitely. All right, I gotta go on, but thanks, buddy. I appreciate it.
All right, no problem.
See ya.
Later.